Welcome to Barnstable Today as we put the wraps on the month of September. Hello once again, I'm Mark Mumford.
FW Webb explains the environmental nuances of its planned move in front of the town's Site Plan Review Board. That's our top story. Thanks for joining us. I'm Kevin Friel.
FW Webb wants to move its operation from Addicts Lane to a new site in Hyannis's Independence Park. The company sells pipe equipment and services contractors' needs.
At the latest site plan review session held in Town Hall, Steve Seymour had several questions for FW Webb's representatives.
The other thing on the stormwater treatment is this is a wellhead protection area.
Yes.
And I'd really like to see like some kind of biofiltration system. I don't know if you looked at that or not as an option. It looks like there might be some areas on the site you could do something, I don't know if you looked at biofiltration at all.
We looked at doing a vegetated filter strip, but we're very close to our requirement for the open space, natural open space requirement because of the wellhead protection district. And we would have to lose some more trees in order, I think we needed a 50-foot wide filter strip.
Do you need the entire like overflow parking area that you show there that's the gravel area? Could some of that be used?
Again, it would, I mean, we could probably use some of that. Again, it would reduce the parking even more. And I don't know how, where that would stand or how that would stand with the town or the zoning on how they would want to handle that. I think we'd probably have to have more discussions with the town and see what they would prefer and how they want to handle that.
Okay. And I haven't looked at the detailed drainage. Did you supply some on the storm scepter, and what level of treatment that would you would provide through that system?
We did. We have the storm scepter software back at the office. We size each storm scepter based on the amount of runoff and impervious area going to them, and it gives you a percentage of TSS removal that's being treated through that system.
Does it besides the TSS, does it talk about different constituents, that are in stormwater and treatment, or have they has there been some independent testing done to see how effective they actually are in removing certain things?
Yeah, I mean, they have a lot of testing results and results on how they work and what they can remove. We can give you specifics as to what each unit treats and how they work.
That hearing was continued by Site Plan Review. The Cape Cod Commission will also be looking into the proposed move, and the town's Zoning Board of Appeals may also need to chime in as well.
Meanwhile, the licensing authority has been getting a lot of attention lately, so we invited the chair, Martin Hoxie, to join us in the Barnstable Today studio for some conversation.
Well, very pleased today to be joined by a man I've had a professional working relationship with for a couple of decades now here in the town. In fact, it's Martin Hoxie, the chairman of the licensing authority. And Marty, I certainly remember you as a lieutenant in the police department when I washed ashore. But I know you've been around a lot longer than I have. And just give people a little bit of a sense before we talk about the licensing authority per se of your background of public service here in the town of Barnstable.
Sure. I was a police officer for over 30 years, retired in 1998 as lieutenant. And prior to my service as a police officer, I was also a selectman in the town of Barnstable in the 70s for 4 years. And then the selectmen were the licensing authority. So I was a member of the licensing authority back in the 70s. And then right after I retired, I applied for a position on the licensing authority. And 9 years ago, I was fortunate enough to get the appointment. And so I've got a lot of history with the licensing authority as a police officer prosecuting numerous cases before the authority. So I've had a long history with the licensing authority.
Now, it's interesting, the authority has made some headlines just in the past week or so from underage drinking sting that took place over the summer, and I know you can't get into the specifics of that because that's an ongoing situation. But there's a lot more to the licensing authority than that. Give us a sense of what all it encompasses.
Well, the licensing authority has broad authority to issue a variety of licenses. That includes not only alcohol, but used car licenses, new car licenses, entertainment licenses, junk dealer's license, lodging houses, a wide variety, junk dealers, as I say. So we're very busy. We hold a hearing on an average of every 2 weeks, and about 25 to 30 hearings a year. And we also have show cause hearings, as you just saw recently with the sting operation.
And it's interesting because of the about 36 boards and committees here in town, yours is the one that has a police presence that is, you have a natural relationship with the police department, they help you function and vice versa. Give us a sense of that.
Well, we have two liaison officers, Lieutenant Joellen Jason, Officer Steve Marr, who participate in all of our hearings. And especially they're very helpful when it comes to show cause hearings with their recommendations, and they do bring charges against violators. So we made them recently as an integral part of the workings of the licensing authority, and they've been most helpful to us.
Now with your lengthy history, a couple of different iterations of service with the licensing authority and the last 9 years, is there anything that surprises you anymore? I mean, it's you get such a wide variety of issues that come up. Does anything surprise you at this state?
Well, what surprised me recently was the number of violators we had when we did conduct the sting operation. And it was conducted after certainly complying with the guidelines as set down by the Alcoholic Beverage Control Commission. And we had required or requested that all license holders attend seminars that were put on by the police. And we thought that most of the license holders would be very cognizant of serving liquor to minors. And we were kind of disappointed because the police conducted about 60 individual license holders in the sting operation, and 22 violations. And that was a surprise to me. That's the most recent surprise.
I noticed you made a special effort, though, in the last session to make sure you had Lieutenant Jason, I believe it is, read the names of those who did comply, because there were couple dozen, maybe 3 dozen that did comply.
Well, there's 38 actually that
yeah.
did comply.
And yeah, I'm sure you would like to note those on the positive side of the
Yes,
ledger.
so we do, and then they would be notified. So this sting operation will probably continue because about 60 of our license holders were conducted in this sting. And we've got 128 liquor license holders in the town of Barnstable, so we've got some more to do. So hopefully the publicity that's been given as a result of these hearings will make sure that it doesn't happen to these other ones that haven't had the sting pulled on them yet.
And never a dull moment, though. Is that the way it seems in front of the licensing authority? It seems like you do have an awful interesting batch of items that come up.
Well, it is, and sometimes it's difficult because we have to balance the needs of the community with the request of the applicants. And I know people want to make a living, but at the same time, we have to issue licenses, particularly alcohol license, on that it's needed in the community. So we have to balance, the need with the common good. And I think we've done a pretty good job.
Well, we'll be following. I know you have a couple more rounds of hearings coming up in that regard. Is that correct?
Yes, we have 2 more rounds of hearings, and hopefully that'll be the end of them.
We hope you've enjoyed a dry day today because the relief may be brief. Tonight, mostly cloudy with temperatures dropping down into the mid-50s. Then tomorrow, plenty of clouds with a good chance of some rain showers in the mix as well. Light winds out of the south with highs pushing near the 70-degree mark.
The meeting scene is heating back up. Tonight it's the school committee in the town hall hearing room kicking off at 7. Tomorrow evening the Zoning Board of Appeals is back in action at 7 in the hearing room. And at the same time, the Highness Main Street Waterfront Historic District Commission meets in the basement of the school administration building.
And just another reminder about the Recreation Department's public hearing coming up on Monday evening in regard to a proposed smoking ban on all town of Barnstable beaches.
That is scheduled for 7 o'clock launch in Town Hall. Thanks for joining us today. I'm Kevin Friel.
We'll meet you right back here tomorrow. I'm Mark Mumford.